talked to a lot of men about testosterone replacement therapy. Guys want to know about it. They want to know what it is. People think it's steroids. People think it's illegal. People think it's stuff falling off the back of the truck and you going down to Mexico. We're going to find out fact from fiction. And there's one man that I trust. Probably, I trust my doctor maybe a little bit more just because my doctor's cool. I got a cool doctor. But brother, you know you are number 2. Matter of fact, I'm gonna put you as 1A because if the doctor's off, I'm still gonna come to you and ask you, all right, is the doctor right on this? So other than that, y'all, this is the biggest authority I could come. I had to come to my brother to talk TRT. Again, a lot of men have asked me about this. So brother, go ahead and make an introduction for yourself. If you just want to start talking about a little bit of your history, how did you become so knowledgeable? And then, I'll throw out some questions and we can just go right in it. Because I want to throw some commonly asked questions the guys have asked me over the years about TRT, some of the myths, some of the things that people think it was going to happen to them, the whole nine. I know you know the history because we used to talk about this stuff going back in the 90s on why can women go get on estrogen, but yet men couldn't get on TRT. But brother, tell the audience a little bit about yourself and let's get it started.
All right. For me, I really started researching it more, I want to say probably when I was in the Marine Corps and, of course, followed through in the Army. I quickly realized doctors didn't know that much about them. And the stuff that, we kind of saw a transition over the years because you had, 90s, 2000, early 2000. You didn't hear about a lot of guys on TRT, especially under 40. Fortunately, I was able to get on it and my results were low and I was able to get it through the military, which was rare. And then, of course, kind of passed that information on. But there was a lot of reading early on with the old anabolic reference guide. It's called the World Anabolic Review. And, this was the early days of the internet, 95, 96, so it wasn't all those blogs out. And of course, I met a bodybuilder, I'm not going to name, IFBB Pro, that I used to bounce stuff and tell you, and I couldn't believe, so-and-so, these guys use this stuff. And no, he's natural.
He's using Joe Weider's protein powder. What are you talking about?
And after spending thousands, Joe Weider, super weight gainer and some of everything. Yes.
Russian bear and Cybergenics.
Yes. My wife still makes fun of me about the Russian bear. So, this bodybuilder certainly turned me on to the hoax that all of them were lying. And I remember going to him while he was marketing this certain supplement company that he was a representative for. We come down, we hang out, and he didn't even take the products. And he stand up there and give recommendations and things like that about the product, have their shirt on, everything, and swole, IFBB stuff up there about himself. And he didn't even take the stuff, And he didn't even think it worked, of course. And selling it and selling it to other, to the Marines up there and stuff. And, he filled me in on a lot of information and definitely piqued my curiosity again once I found out that the whole kind of bodybuilding industry, being it was still Joe Weider was on top. EAS was just coming out, getting popular, and he definitely filled me in on what was really going on with the whole bodybuilding industry, supplement industry, and everything.
Real quick, it's funny you mentioned EAS because I think certainly if we look at Bill Phillips, he probably was the first one, him and Sean Phillips, to really start doing those Body for Life competitions before and after. Cybergenics and some of the other ones tried it. But it's funny now that we look back, 30 years, people are still doing that exact same thing. And the main thing about EAS, what I remember, it was like finally a supplement that you knew worked. When we're talking about creatine, namely. And at least, I think if we go back to a lot of the things that were sold by Joe Weider, I guess if the placebo effect, you get gains from it, great. But it was like, this is the first time somebody was putting out research, papers saying, you know, this is what it does, this works, I'm only going to stand by something that works. And so, but nobody really, like you said, no one told us how much drugs these bodybuilders were actually taking.
Oh yeah, I remember. Actually, I was in Okinawa, and I was like one of the first guys taking that phosphagen.
Oh yeah,
yeah, like 150 pounds over there, and then of course later on was the phosphagen HP, and then really one that kind of worked the best was that I can't remember the name of that company. But a lot of guys, of course, when they on steroids and stuff, they claim it. You know, years ago it was this certain brand creatine. I just can't remember the name. You know what I'm talking about? It was good stuff though. It actually tastes good too.
Was it the one that fizzled?
I don't think it fizzled.
Oh, I can't remember either.
Yeah, that one was decent though.
I do remember when Mark McGuire, you know, when they were chasing him around trying to figure out whether he was on steroids, he said, "No, I'm on creatine."
Yeah, it was like everybody was using that excuse for brand, but compared to the other Joe Weider stuff, you know,
it felt like Roy's.
Yeah, you know, it wasn't bad.
Yep. All right, so then now that was back in the 90s. All right, so real quick, just to get some history even on you, because a lot of people talk about working out, they talk about supplements. I mean, one of the things I remember in school is that the people that either teaching nutrition class were fat, or the folks that, it was a lot of folks, even when I was in exercise science, that did not look like they exercised at all. So just, you know, I'm going to ask you just to show your credentials or brag, or not, you don't have to brag, but just so dudes will be like, well, you know, what can he do? What did he do? You know, when you first started working out, because I remember when you came home from boot camp.
146 pounds.
How much?
I was 146. And couldn't bench 135 in your basement.
I remember. Boom.
Yeah. I didn't run though.
You can run. And then what was your fitness journey after
that? One difficult thing up until I retired a couple of years ago was still balancing, having to run and all that stuff. And I definitely think it takes a balance, because you can't gain a whole lot of weight because then it hurts to run. So that was already a struggle. I've been as high as 243, and trying to run in the military at 243 is difficult. Hard on your joints, your back, hips, knees, and everything. I was more comfortable in the 90s, but when I joined Marines, I was 176, came home from boot camp like 146. By the time I got to the Marine Corps, I was 220. And then I went in the Army shortly after at 220. And then when I retired 3 years ago, I was 199, because I was doing that challenge with a friend, but I stayed around 220 then, as I was but we were having a competition who could first one to get under 200 for $100. So
okay.
I just did some keto. I think I did like hardly any cardio. Went to the gym a couple times a week. I didn't change really anything. It was just diet.
Okay. So now let's kind of touch on. I know this is where you persuaded me. How did your journey go to TRT? And what thoughts did you have before it? How hard was it previously? And what was your journey to get there? You know, at a relatively young age, or what I'm assuming most doctors want to give it to someone.